The San Mateo North County Courthouse has seen a recent invasion of high school students in suits and ties and pantsuits carrying legal briefs striding into the courtroom. Learn what this is all about when we come back.
In January, it's so nice. While swimming on the sliding ice. To sip hot chicken soup with rice. Sipping once, sipping twice. Sipping chicken soup with rice. You never wanna go away. Too far, stay home all day. And dream about my soup all day. Home right once, home right twice. Eating chicken soup with rice. Chicken soup with rice.
Hi, I'm Bruce Grantham, and welcome to Our Children, Our Future, a program about education in the South San Francisco Unified School District. Since 1984, high school students in several San Mateo County high schools have been entering the courtroom to participate in our legal and justice system in a program called the Mock Trial Competition. Then government teacher and now Assemblyman Gene Mullen was the first county coordinator of Mock Trial, and the first teacher coaches were John Herron and Steve Simondi from South City and El Camino High Schools, respectively. With me are the current teacher coaches, Bruce Cummings from El Camino High School and Sean Priest from South San Francisco High School. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me this evening.
Thanks.
On Our Children, Our Future. Bruce, what is Mock Trial? What's the concept?
I'd say Mock Trial is a simulated courtroom event sponsored by the Constitutional Rights Foundation that allows kids to compete against other schools in an actual courtroom trying a court case. And they work with real lawyers and sometimes judges as they go through the competition.
And you say trying a real court case. Is this something that's established by whom, and what is this court case?
Right. The Constitutional Rights Foundation comes up with the court case, and it changes each year. It is always a criminal case. In the years that I've done it, we've had an arson, a murder, a credit card fraud, and vehicular manslaughter as the items over which the trial has been.
So they try this case throughout the competition?
Right.
The same case?
Right.
How many schools in San Mateo County participate?
About a dozen, enough that we have two divisions in San Mateo County, the North County and the South County. And so the North County competes at the North County Courthouse, the South County competes at the courthouse in Redwood City.
Is this a statewide program?
Yes, it is. 36 counties statewide compete.
And my understanding that ultimately, I mean, it's nationwide also, isn't it? That, I mean, you could make your way
right,
conceivably all the way to some kind of national competition.
Yes.
How did each of you get involved? Sean, how did you get involved with Mock Trial at your school?
I had a lot of these students in my class last year, and they would come to school dressed, you know, to the nines, and they would have all kinds of energy and be talking about this big trial. And so I kind of did some mock trial-like stuff when I was in college, and they kind of hooked me in just with their enthusiasm. So I signed on to help them out this year. This is my first year doing it. So.
What do you think of it so far?
I think it's outstanding. It's a really great opportunity for you know, these young people to, on the one hand, strut their stuff, and on the other hand, you know, get to see what some of the other people with similar interests and similar personalities are doing in the other schools in the area. So it's...
Bruce, how did you get involved?
Well, Steve Simondi stepped down about 4 years ago, having done it for...
And he was an institution at El Camino.
El Camino, and so there wasn't really anyone to fill his shoes, and so a student from the last year he did it went around and recruited actually 3 teachers at El Camino. I was one of them, and the 3 of us together worked on it. Well, those 2 have since moved on into other things, but I stuck with it.
You're the Lone Ranger.
I'm the Lone Ranger.
Must like it.
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
You get to work with some interesting kids.
Yeah, quite a cross-section. We've got kids that are from some of our higher level courses, and they're very active. They're maybe in the play or the musical or in student leadership, but we have a lot of kids who just really enjoy the pull of courtroom simulation.
How many students are on a team, and what roles do they play?
There are 18 students, and the team is actually divided into 2. There's a prosecution and a defense side, and each side has a pretrial attorney, 3 trial attorneys, 4 witnesses, and then a bailiff or a clerk.
And then some of the students also participate as witnesses.
Right.
So all the roles in the courtroom except for the judge.
Right.
Who's the judge?
The judge will be a volunteer from the legal community in the county.
And what determines a winner or loser?
Winner or loser is actually not whether the defendant gets acquitted or not, but whether the two judge raters, who are also volunteer attorneys, score one team higher or lower. They give each performance. Each time a lawyer gets up and cross-examines or direct examines a witness, each time a witness gets up and says something on the witness stand, each performance is scored.
Sean, in your brief experience with mock trial, what do you think students get out of the experience of mock trial?
You know, it's interesting. Each student, I think, gets something different. It's funny, you'll see that a lot of drama kids, like Bruce was saying, will get involved with mock trial because they enjoy the performance aspect of it. Those kids will become constitutional scholars, you know, as they're learning about the finer points of the cases. And on the other hand, students who are, you know, real interested in the law aspect of it and really interested in sort of the academic exercise of mock trial become these sort of performers. And so they get to go out there and they learn all about their own poise, their own ability to speak in front of a large group of people. So it's really a great, you know, experience for them to get out in front of a real courtroom, full gallery, you know, a real judge, real attorneys, and you know, get to see what they can do.
And the each team, each school has an attorney coach that actually coaches them on how to behave in the courtroom and protocol, I assume, and all of those kinds of things. In the actual courtroom competition, how much of it is scripted and how much is student-driven, where they have to think on their feet? And
well, there's a good deal of the actual court itself is scripted. You know, just the sort of procedures of a courtroom. The case is all laid out. The witness statements have already been written, and so the witnesses are answering questions on direct or cross-examination based on their own witness statements that are provided to them.
So that part's scripted?
That part's scripted, but there's a number of variables that play in. Every match is different, and so there's all kinds of objections that you'll hear, and the judge does a pretty good job of, you know, keeping the students moving in terms of especially the pretrial motion. A lot of questioning, direct questioning to the pretrial attorneys about issues of constitutionality and things like that, which can be really, you know, exciting.
Anything stand out in your 4 years of going through the competition with the kids, of something that happened in the courtroom?
Well, I do think that the students make use of the case book, and they're supposed to stay within that for the facts of the record. However, they can often bring in reasonable inferences from outside. So, for example, last year there was a witness who happened to be the school librarian. That's my position at El Camino. And he was claimed to not be able to see the defendant enter the library because he was amongst the books in the stacks. And the student came back with saying, well, this is California school library, weren't enough books in the way to block his view.
A little political statement. Sean, how about you? Anything stand out in your first year going through this with the kids?
For me, it's been watching, you know, doing the first year. It's I think a 3-week season, and for me the most amazing thing has been watching a student that I have, very shy. You know, she doesn't talk a lot in the class that I have her in, and watching her go from the first week being sort of really unsure of herself and just trying as hard as she can to get every word out after the other and not trip up, shaking. She was so nervous. By the 3rd week, you know, standing up with this poise and confidence and her head out and her chin out and just really, you know, giving it everything she had with all kinds of confidence. And so seeing that growth has been, you know, really the most memorable thing.
Sounds like that's what it's all about.
I hope so, yeah.
If there's a high school out there in the county that is not participating in mock trial but would like to explore that, what should they do? Who should they contact?
John Herron is the current county coordinator. He's recently retired from South San Francisco High School. And I think we have a slide of his information that people can either contact him by phone or email, and I'm sure he'd be glad to fill them in on all that they need to have for bringing their school into the competition.
Before we close, Bruce, what do you think is one of the main values that this program brings to kids?
Well, I think Sean touched on it. Those kids who like to perform get an opportunity to dig into some factual material more. Those kids who really like the facts have an opportunity to practice being up in front of people, public speaking. We don't really have a debate program at either school, and so this is an outlet for them to practice thinking on their feet, speaking in front of strangers, and being confident about that.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well, every once in a while somebody gets a prom date as well.
So there are perks to
Absolutely,
it.
yeah.
Excellent. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at what went on in the courtroom when the legal teams from El Camino and South San Francisco High School squared off to try The People vs. Kendall. Don't go away.
It's so nice. Walking on sliding ice.
Prudential California Realty is pleased to support the South San Francisco Unified School District. With several offices located throughout the South Bay, we help home buyers realize their dreams of ownership and sellers maximize their home investment. Prudential California Realty is a longtime partner with education, having created the Education Foundation in 1992, which provides grants to teachers throughout Northern California. Prudential California Realty, your partner in real estate.
You've always been like a son to me, Mikey. And that's why I find it unfortunate that we're in this little situation here. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna pay for this. Peninsula TV. How will it affect you?
Welcome back. We were in the courtroom in early February when El Camino and South San Francisco high school students competed to try the case The People vs. Kendall in the mock trial competition. Let's take a look at that video now.
Hearing there with respect to the pretrial issues having to do with the constitutionality of certain legislation that relates to the criminal action present in the case tonight. We therefore call this hearing to order. I will first ask the defense to summarize their arguments made in support of their motion to suppress the charges against the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good evening, Your Honor and Judge Raiders. My name, again, is Melissa Lima, L-I-M-A, and I will be presenting the pretrial defense for tonight. This evening, we are faced with two issues: whether the Caneville City Ordinance is unconstitutional or not, and if the logos placed on the vehicles are legal or not. We believe that the ordinance of the City of Caneville is unconstitutional on the grounds that it prohibits any association of these clubs.
The Caneville Ordinance is constitutional because it regulates drag racing that creates a clear and present danger, and the use of illegal club logos on vehicles is equivalent to fighting words. Drag racing creates a clear and present danger. Thus, our case is similar to People v. Engelbrecht, where the government regulated gang symbols and hand gestures as they led to a pattern of illegal activities. Your Honor, drag racing creates a clear and present danger, and the City Council's regulation of drag racing logos is legitimate as they are equivalent to fighting words. Therefore, I request that you rule in favor of the ordinance's constitutionality. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the defendant is guilty of manslaughter, an illegal exhibition of speed, and participating in an illegal race. The prosecution will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant possessed strong motive and that her careless actions contributed to Vanessa Foley's death.
Your Honor, on the night of May 21st, 2004, both a tragic and life-altering motor vehicle accident had occurred. There were two victims of this accident. The main victim was Miss Vanessa Foley. She had to pay with her life. But another victim of this accident was Miss Darian Kendall. Just by being at the wrong place at the wrong time, Miss Kendall has been charged with 3 very serious misdemeanors.
Is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please be seated and state your name.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Quinn Avila.
What is your occupation?
I'm an officer at the Caneville Police Department.
Miss White, do you recognize this diagram?
Yes, I do. It's the reproduction of the intersection of Main and Gardner.
And is it an accurate reproduction?
Yes, it is.
So, Miss White, what was the first issue that you examined?
Well, the first issue that I examined is whether or not Darian was pilling out and if there's marks to indicate this.
My name is Mo Lancaster, and I'm a student at Campbell Community College.
Do you know the victim, Vanessa Foley?
Yes.
How did you know her?
She and I were enrolled in the same auto shop classes.
What, if anything, happened on the following Monday?
Darian had a Roadhogs decal on his car, and when Vanessa confronted him with...
If Miss Lancaster is so desperate to redeem herself, perhaps this is her opportunity to take responsibility for her actions. The people ask that you find the defendant guilty of vehicular manslaughter. Thank you.
Thank you. The defense feels that the prosecution has not met its burden of proof and would like to see the defendant found not guilty. One life has been ruined through this tragic turn of events. Please don't ruin another life. Thank you.
Thank you. It's the opinion of the court that the defendant, Ms. Darian Kendall, is guilty as charged in count 1 of vehicular manslaughter. At this time, on behalf of everyone involved in the program, our moot court program, we want to thank all of you for being involved, our friends and family and neighbors for supporting, and certainly your teacher coach and attorney coaches. We respect and appreciate all your hard work.
How do you think a mock trial has helped you in everyday life or in academics?
Well, I think mock trial has helped me become a leader. I know especially in mock trial, the people who I'm working with helps each other out. So it also teaches me about teamwork, and I think that's essential in everyday life.
Well, it's a very good exercise for public speaking. It helps prepare one for future careers.
I think all the high school students are doing an excellent job. It's far beyond what I would expect.
I think it's a great, I love the participation of the kids. I think it really opens up an interest in perhaps law, in the law career or world.
Welcome back. With me is Aaron Fitzgerald, Deputy District Attorney with San Mateo County and Attorney Coach for the El Camino High School mock trial team. Aaron, welcome. Thanks for coming on with me.
Thank you. Good evening.
How did you become involved with mock trial?
There were several district attorneys that worked at the Northern Branch in South City that have done it for years. We talked about it, and it seemed exciting. We deal with courtroom activities every day, sometimes 6 hours a day. And it's a real nice fit for district attorneys who litigate a lot to get actively involved in mock trial.
Now, the attorneys have other roles too, as scorers in the competition. What do they do?
Well, the scorers actually watch the legal proceedings and then rate the various actors in the mock trial competition. There's a number of different players. The first are the pretrial attorneys who litigate an issue, in this case, of constitutional law. After a brief pretrial motion, then there are attorneys that actually conduct the proceedings. There are witnesses, and we also have a number of people in the legal community that assist as judges and scorers.
What, for our viewers, what was going on in the courtroom there? What did we just see?
It was a lot of fun. What you saw was a manslaughter trial taking place where the defendant, Darian Kendall, was charged with the unlawful killing of the victim. What you saw was the direct examination by the prosecution, and you also saw the defense making an impassioned plea for Miss Darian Kendall.
You were there when they were competing that night. What kind of? You're also the coach for the El Camino team. What goes through your mind? What's it like for you in the courtroom?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. The young adults that were doing it, I know from El Camino, from watching them, put a lot of work into it. They prepared the questions themselves. I provided some input and some advice, but the kids came up with the questions with the strategy for conducting the questioning, and you really have to learn how to think quick on your feet. And the kids didn't know on occasions what answers they were going to get, and they had to come up with arguments. They had to deal with sometimes uncooperative witnesses. They did a great job. I was really impressed.
It leads to the next question. What do you think is the value to students of participating in something like this?
The value of being able to work with people and also deal with the unknown is invaluable. In the working world, a lot of things come up and you don't know how to deal with them, and the ability to respond and adapt to uncertainty is I think huge in the business world. You get to work with people, there's camaraderie, there's a common goal, you learn to work well with others. Those are all invaluable, I think.
From your perspective as a litigator, is this an authentic situation that the students are put in?
The kids had to deal with a fact pattern that they did know about which is just what DAs do in the workplace. We get a police report, we prepare the case, we then present the case to the best of our ability. So that actually absolutely is what they were doing. They did prepare for the case well. I've seen attorneys that haven't prepared as well as some of these kids and really performed well, in my opinion.
Wish we could talk to you longer, but we're out of time. In a moment, we're going to talk to two of the student attorneys who participated in the trial the other night. So you're not going to want to miss this, so stay with us.
January, it's so nice. Walking on sliding ice.
If you live on the peninsula, there's only one place to get the latest news on business, sports, politics, education, and your community. Peninsula TV, Channel 26, the Peninsula and South Bay's Emmy Award-winning programming resource. For more information or for a programming schedule, go to pentv.tv or call us at 650-637-1936. Peninsula TV, your community programming channel.
Real Estate with Bobby Decker is for anyone who owns a home or aspires to do so. Everything that is important to or an interesting facet of home ownership will be covered by our program. Please join us. You won't want to miss Real Estate with me, your host, Bobby Decker.
Emmy Award-winning Peninsula TV provides a large multifunctional TV studio and video production facility, state-of-the-art equipment, and affordable prices. Let our professional staff and crew produce your company or organization's next video, or create your own TV series and air it on one of the Bay Area's largest community cable channels. Contact Peninsula TV at pentv.tv or call 650-637-1936.
Joining me in the spotlight tonight are students Albert Lai from South San Francisco High School and Eric Baradas from El Camino High School. Albert is a senior and Eric is a junior, and they're both student attorneys in the mock trial competition. How long have you fellows been participating in mock trial? Albert?
I've been participating for the last 4 years, ever since I was a freshman.
So you got involved very, very young.
Yeah.
Why'd you get involved?
My brother did it, and I thought it was interesting, so I just decided to join in.
Did you go when you're to mock trial competitions when your brother was participating?
Yeah, 1 or 2 of them, and I just saw the dynamic between how the lawyers interacted with a real judge, and I thought that was really cool, so I joined us.
Kind of intimidating?
Yeah, a little.
Bit. Eric, how long have you been involved?
I've been involved for the past 2 years, last year and this year.
And how come? How'd you get involved?
I heard about it through school and just checked it out. I was a witness last year, and this year I was an attorney. I just really like it. It's just fun.
The question I want to ask, and everybody probably wants to know, is what's it like in the courtroom? You know, being an attorney in a courtroom, actually trying a real case. What's it like, Albert?
Well, at times it's nerve-wracking because the majority of the time I've played pre-trial, and you have to go with the judge one-on-one in pre-trial. And it's very nerve-wracking because the judge knows a lot more about law than you, and you're just trying to argue the case as best as you can, and then especially when you get into it, you're trying to save the guy, and this judge is trying to convict him.
What's it like for you?
For me, it made just fun. I liked it a lot. It was just pure fun.
Do you get into it? I mean, do you want to get your client off, or do you want to prosecute this person? I mean, do you get into the role of the actual trial itself and the case itself and want it to go your way?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Albert?
Definitely, because that's actually a requirement, sort of, in order to get involved and actually do the case.
Does it feel like you're trying a real case?
Yeah, it really does.
Do you want to win?
Of course.
Albert?
Of course.
What's more important? I think I asked it when we were talking before. What's more important to the two of you, winning the verdict or in the competition, winning the points?
Both. I think both.
Well, you can't have it all
I
the
know,
time.
I know, but of course winning the points is the biggest thing, but just winning
the competition.
Yeah, but just hearing the verdict of, like, for me, since I was defense not guilty, it's just the extra pat on the back, you know.
they did good.
Albert, what about you? What's more important?
I think both are essential, but they're also very different because the verdict gives the team a short-term morale boost, and the points give the team a long-term morale boost.
What role do you enjoy playing the most?
I like playing an attorney this year. It was better. I just liked it more. I mean,
more challenging?
Yeah, you could have more of a non-scripted type of environment than as a witness where it's all just on paper.
You got to think on your feet.
Yeah.
Albert, what about you? What role?
I would definitely prefer pretrial because you have to go one-on-one with the judge, and it's a straight argument with the guy. And
you like that competition, don't you? I keep hearing that.
It's like a duel.
All right, let's talk a little bit about you guys as students. What are your plans after high school? Albert, you're going to be graduating this year.
Well, I intend to go to college and probably study history or political science.
Has your experience in mock trial these past 4 years influenced at all your plans?
Yeah, because my teachers have told me that the law process has a lot in common with arguments in history, and that was one of the factors why I joined mock trial.
What are your plans after high school, Eric?
I hope to get into business somehow, maybe real estate.
How has mock trial influenced you or maybe helped you decide on what you'd like to do?
I think the main thing that it's helped me do is public speaking the most. I mean, you have to think on your feet basically half the trial. I mean, some of it's scripted, but you're also thinking on your feet to what question to ask, if you to object or whatnot, so I think that helped a lot.
You've both been involved in this a great deal. How has your experience in mock trial affected your view of the legal and justice system in our country? Albert?
Well, it's kind of weird because the whole mock trial process has taught me that a verdict can go either way depending on the quality of your lawyer as well as the quality of your witnesses. Yeah.
Good point. Eric?
Basically the same thing. Our judicial system, I think, does pretty good, and the mock trial competition just helps us to get closer to there and see how it really is in court.
You have a different perspective than almost anybody else because you're in the courtroom actually doing it. By the way, who won the competition we filmed, South City versus El Camino, that night?
It was split.
It was split?
Yeah.
Who got the verdict?
South City.
Yeah.
South City got the verdict?
Yeah.
You got the points?
Yeah.
So you guys could shake hands?
Wait a minute, South City got the points.
Oh, we've got a dispute here. We might need to have, where's Aaron? Aaron might have to come back on and adjudicate this one. Hey, I was really impressed when we went into the courtroom that night. You guys did a fantastic job. Good luck to both of you. We can always use good attorneys, but more importantly, we need a skilled, knowledgeable, and competent younger generation, and you folks represent that, and mock trial's doing it. I'm Bruce Grantham for Our Children, Our Future. See you next time.